Hey, what's happening, you guys? All right, another week is come and gone. This week, I did promise. Anyways, first things first. Please like, follow, subscribe to the Treeline Podcast if you haven't already. If you've been seeing clips or posts of the Treeline Podcast and you don't know what's going on, just know that it's me. If you've known me for a while on Facebook or whatever, if you know me over the years, yeah, we got a podcast going. So please like, follow, subscribe, Spotify and YouTube, and I'm putting out episodes every week. So last week, we talked about a really successful hunt that my brother and I went on, and I actually talked about how it was a really spiritual experience for me, especially being that I had just come off of doing this psychedelic, which I spoke a little about last week. Now, I've never dabbled really in psychedelics. I've never dabbled in this specific psychedelic. I think when I was in high school, I might have done mushrooms or something like once or twice, but this was probably the most intense. This was the most intense chemical compound reaction I've had in my body, in my brain, in my life, in my entire life. DMT, all right, and I believe it's something tryptamine or something. Let me just look up the actual what it's called without losing the sound here. So what I'm looking for is DMT. Now this stuff is called dimethyltryptamine. All right, dimethyltryptamine is a substituted tryptamine that occurs in many plants and animals, including humans, and which is both a derivative and a structural analog of tryptamine. DMT is used as a psychedelic drug and prepared by various cultures for ritual purposes as an entheogen. All right, so that basically means this stuff is a lot like if you've ever heard of Hayasaka or really, really strong psychedelics. Now, I'm going to tell you about my experience. That's a little bit of the history. I guess I don't know a lot about the history of the DMT. I do know that it's a chemical compound that is created as humans, in our pineal gland in our brain. It's also created inside our lungs as humans. But animals create it in their bodies as well. Plants create it as well. It's natural chemical compound. It's just that humans, their body doesn't cycle through it naturally. So I've heard of theories that, for example, your body will release DMT if you're dying or something, and I guess there's enough time to where you're kind of conscious through the process. I think it helps you kind of ease into the death, to the state of death. It eases you into that state of death, right? Or it helps you into that process, whether it be 15, 20 minutes, your last 15 or 20 minutes, right? And you're sucking for air or whatever the case may be. The only thing I was thinking was that might have something to do. That might be factual. I don't know. I haven't never almost died yet, right? But I have done this DMT this one time, and now we're going to talk about it, okay? I think I've introduced it. I beat that dead horse, all right? Now, so the way I did it is I linked up with a local shaman, and it was a completely safe environment. I was babysat. Trust me, if you ever decide to do this, it would behoove you to babysit yourself, because God knows what you're capable of when you're on this stuff for 15 or 20 minutes. God knows what you're capable of doing to other people or yourself. Just you have to be babysat. Anyways, so I sat down, and the shaman gave me this pipe and said, here, there's DMT in this pipe. Now you're going to pull as hard as you can, like as deep as you can. All right. And I'm like, okay, well, how do you know when it kicks in? He's like, you'll know. You'll just know. And sure enough, well, I tried it once, right? And I'm just like, I just tried to pull it, and I didn't see anything happening. Nothing was changing. The shaman asked me, hey, are you gone? Are you here? Are you gone? And I was just like, yeah, I think I'm here, man. He's like, all right, well, you didn't pull it right. You didn't pull right. And I was like, dude, I pulled it as hard as I could. Well, apparently I didn't pull it right. So I went for the second time. This is round 2, okay? Now this gets intense, man. So if you're not into psychedelics or you're not into like spiritual experiences, maybe this is not the episode for you. But I'm going to try to tell you as much as I remember from this experience that I had, okay? So the second time I went to take the pole, right? And I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it because I'll never, this was a profound experience. But so I take this pole, this deep, and then at like halfway through that pole, it wasn't me anymore pulling that pipe. It was another presence. It was a spirit. It was another presence. It was a fucking, it was a divine presence. And it took over my body. I had no control of the rest of that rip I was taking. It completed the rip for me, whatever it or he was. Like, I'm sitting here, like, to this day, and this was like a couple weeks ago, like, to this day, like, I'm sitting here still contemplating whether he was the real creator or not. Like, it felt so powerful, and it's just like, I took that hit, and it was just like, whoa. It was like this, everything stops, it's like this humming sound, and everything just starts to be malleable. And when I say malleable, for me, what I saw, or what the creator, whoever it was, that spirit, that presence I felt, whatever he allowed me to see was profound. I mean, everything in the room with me, the table, the walls, everything was chain linked all of a sudden, like little link chains all the way around, and you could like touch it and move it. It was malleable. And then, so I noticed it wasn't reality I was in, and I wasn't, dude, like I had no control. I was like in a back seat to this thing. I was in a back seat, just watching from the back seat, and it took complete control. It went into my brain, and it really dissected some thoughts for me, and like, I guess, I don't know, but it made like family very much important, like all of a sudden. Not that it wasn't important before, but it's just like, it kind of like it's very strict and firm, whatever that presence was. And it's just like, you are a good man, and you got to live for these, nieces and nephews. Anyways, this is the message I got, right? And I started crying, and I know this because the shaman told me. I don't even remember a lot of it, but I do. I'm lying. I do remember a lot. It was very profound and hard for me to forget a lot of this stuff. And I hear about people talk about their DMT experiences, how they don't remember certain things, and I get that. I mean, some of it's kind of pieces of pieces, and it's hard to like put together. But at the end of the day, a lot of it I kind of remember. I remember the room being malleable. I remember the presence. I remember the spiritual presence of this spirit. I think it was a divine, powerful spirit. I don't know, but it totally just kind of took control, and it was talking to the shaman. Whatever, it wasn't me, man, but it was in communication with the shaman, and I felt its emotion speaking to the shaman. Like, it wasn't me, and it was out of this world, bro. But that was just the beginning of it. And like I said, like I tried to think about certain things. I would try to get into thoughts like, okay, like there's certain things I want to think about on this stuff. There's certain things I want to like try to dissect in my own brain, but it's not. It doesn't allow you to choose your thoughts. It doesn't allow you to dissect what you wish. It pushes your thoughts out of the way, and it really just dissects what it cares about. Everything else is like secondary or not even tertiary. Like this stuff. The spiritual presence I felt, I've been calling it creator. I mean, I don't know if it's a God. I don't know if it's real, or if it's just in my brain, or if it's just the DMT chemical compound. I don't know. But I do know that it felt real. Like, it felt so real. Realer than anything I've ever tried, ever. And but that, like I said, that was just the beginning. The malleable room, kind of like the dissecting my brain into kind of showing me what's important and what isn't important. But that was a very profound experience. Just the beginning alone was so profound. Just that the presence that I felt this presence, right? And it spoke to me like Sito, like it talked to me by my name. Which, if you didn't know my name, now you do. It's Christ's sake. But anyways, and it spoke to the shaman by name. And but that still could have been like, if it was a chemical compound reaction in my brain, it could have been just me going off my brain, right? But I felt like it was this presence, this powerful divine presence, doing this communication, not me. But like I said, that was just the beginning. So I put this into probably like a total of 3 or 4 phases that I went through. And the second phase, I was no longer in the malleable room, right? I was kind of like, and the shaman who was there, right, told me that I kind of like curled up in a ball towards the ground or something. But I started crying. I started like thinking like this was what you see at the end, or maybe this is the end. I couldn't really know. Like everything, you don't know. Like you don't think about what you want. You think about what the creator allows you to. Everything out here is just what he allows. Is the idea I got from DMT. Like getting that deer the very next day. I was in there walking through the woods, still extremely like my life is still just extremely shaken by this experience. You know, just the following day when we went hunting and I got that deer, it's like everything that day, like the beautiful day, the wind, the dell up on top of the hill, the deer, the doe, and the buck, like it was all there, and I was sure, 100% sure that it's all there because the creator allowed it, because of the experience I had the day prior. I'm just sure of it, you know? And it's like what we see, or when you're driving on the road as far as you can see, or when you're out in the woods as far as you can see, when you're in your house as far as you can see, just in your living room or whatever, like everything you see, these little things, these walls, these fucking tables and shit, it's just like, I'm sure that it's because he allows it. You know what I'm saying? Like I got that impression from the DMT experiences. This is just a realm, dude. And it's a realm that higher spirits can come in and out of if they wish or whatever, or maybe DMT is like a keyhole for them to get in and out. I don't know. But as far as we go, this is all we see, right? But maybe, I mean, just from the experience I had, man, it's so hard to like, it's hard to sit down and be like, yo, that's just all from my brain. Because a lot of the shit that I experienced, like, it's not even shit I fucking thought of before. So it's just, I don't know. And then it starts to make you think, like, that we're all just spirits, right? And we live on here in this realm for, 80 to 100 years, if we're lucky. And then we move on, right? And the memories, the physical attributes of this realm, like, they don't go with you, man. Your spirit goes, right? Your spirit might be aware of these different realms, but you're not as a physical being, and you're really just a capsule for the spirit. If this DMT experience I had is like legit and not just out my brain, right? But sometimes, like, I'm driving, man, and I'll be looking like out and how beautiful the world is. Now I'm like in tune with it, and I'll have to like shake my head or like take a deep breath or something because I'm scared I'll slip back into that trip, dude. Not that I'm scared, but I'm so fucking respectful to whatever that creator is or whoever that creator is. Like, I don't want him to be upset with me. I don't want him to be upset with the way I live my life. I just want to make sure that I'm kosher now, because I fear that if there is something after, which I'm not going to say I'm sure, but I'm more sure now than I was prior to this experience. I don't want to miss out on that. And I know that he, the creator, whoever it was that I experienced their divine presence, man, and you can call me a liar if you want to, but go get some DMT and fucking try it for yourself. As far as I know, he has the power to let you, see a happy afterlife or not so happy afterlife. Or if that afterlife thing is just a transitional experience into your next physical capsule. I don't know, man. Who the fuck knows? All I know is that there's way more now. Like, I'm just sure of it. That there's just way more now than what you see around you. That's just a realm that breaks away so easily. Like when I was telling you about the phase 1 of this DMT trip, like, remember, everything became malleable. And then this creator just pushed it all away. And I was just in space, dude. It was fucking gnarly. But the second phase, I guess we'll get into that, was when I was starting to crouch towards the ground. The shaman told me, and I started crying and screaming out my nephew's names. Fucking weird, right? But I don't know if it was like, just like screaming for a reason not to go yet. I don't know if I felt like I was leaving. Like if I felt like the creator decided that was it for me. And it just felt so fucking real. And I was begging. I was like, let me stay for these boys. And I was like screaming out the nephew's names and crying. But it felt so fucking real. It felt like the end, man. But phase 2 was pretty quick. It was just so beautiful. And it was like, if I was dying in that moment, if that's what you see, if that's what you feel, then I'm not so scared about it. If that's really what it is, man. Because it was fucking beautiful. I was crying just at the sight of the beauty, and then being torn between whether or not I want to stay or go, right? But that was phase 2. Obviously, I was probably not dying. I was just going through this trip. But like I said, there's about 4 phases. So the third phase was it was like the second phase. The second phase was beautiful, and it felt like a heavenly, beautiful end, right? And then the third phase was like that, but opposite. So kind of evil and scary. Like, and I explained to the shaman after, like the end was fucking terrifying. Not the end, but like the third phase was very terrifying. I say there's 4 phases because the fourth phase is like you're in and out of it. You're kind of coming back to reality, but you're kind of still in this trippy state. So like you don't know what's real and what's not real. So you can be in that trippy kind of trippy / not so trippy state for like 10 minutes, man, and not really know if you're still in this DMT trip or not. Like you're kind of coming back to, you know? So that's phase 4, but phase 3 was just terrifying. I just scary faces, and it's all just kind of entwined and like going away from you. Like, and that made me think like, if I keep fucking up, like that's who I'm going to see, these scary fucking faces, man. And that terrified the shit out of me. And then the fourth phase, like I said, is just coming out of it. But yeah, like I remember being in a room and there was lights all on the ceiling, and I swore it was a spaceship. But those lights were part of there. So I was still not in or out of reality. You know what I mean? It was fucking trippy, man. But now I guess like now you know kind of the 4 phases that I went through, right? And then finally I was coming out of it, and then I got to reflect on some of the experiences, and I'm still reflecting on it. I'm talking about like weeks later, or maybe 2 weeks later, I still think about it on a daily basis. It was so profound. It was so profound. And the presence I felt was divine, powerful presence. Like, felt like fucking like Egyptian pharaoh, like took over my body. And it's just like, yes, no. Like it was fucking, I say yes and no, but like obviously it was just, it was out of this world. The shaman said I was like spitting in some accent or something, but who knows, man? I mean, that shit. I mean, it's hard to say that there's nothing spiritual about that, because there's just some of the things that went through like my visuals that I was seeing. It's just like I've never thought of things like that before. So unless it's like a genetic memory, right? Then where the fuck is that coming from? If not like a spiritual realm, right? I don't know, but I do know that I don't know. I gotta keep saying I know. I just feel like I can confirm now more so than I could before, that there might be realms, man. And I think like I was saying before, like there's probably millions of realms, man, millions of dimensional realms. I don't know, and but I've only done this thing once, and I've heard from people that have done it multiple times that they start seeing more things. They start seeing like elves, or they start seeing other scary things, fairies or elves in the forest. I mean, hopefully the next time I do it, I'd like to be outside. I think that the creator would show me much more if said creator. See, I feel kind of guilty for questioning whether he really exists or not, because I feel like I'll pay. Like I feel like if I'm speaking out the side of my face saying that there's a good chance this thing is just in my brain or not real, that eventually one day, maybe not tomorrow or the next day or next year, but when I do pass on to that next realm, you know, I'll pay, you know. So like I want to respect that powerful, you know, that powerful divine presence. I need to respect that powerful divine presence, or you know, like I said, it allows or disallows what we see in this realm. So like it could, I have the fear in my body that this presence can take and give what I either need or don't need. So I just want to keep cognizant of that, because let's say it's real, man. Let's say that presence was real. At the end of the day, like part of phase 1 we were talking about earlier, immediately feeling that divine presence, I didn't feel like it hated me, but I felt like, not necessarily that it was upset, but it was firm and it was strict, right? Like it felt like it was power. It felt like it was fucking the chieftain, whatever. It was the boss. It was fucking the creator, man. That's what it felt like. And I felt that in my whole fucking body. But yeah, and it's gnarly because right into the next day, I'm walking through the woods, we're hunting, and we got that 8-point buck. So it's like it's crazy, because after 36 years of life, I've never killed an animal in the woods, right? Well, I've never killed an animal hunting in the woods, right? and I've never done DMT. But within 2 days, both of those things happened. So I don't know if they're connected, man. I don't know. That's why I talked about it in the last video. Because what if it is connected? What if like I was reintroduced to this creator that I haven't seen since, I was a spirit before this physical form. Who knows, right? So maybe there was a time when I thought, or I knew this thing exists, or maybe my spirit knows it exists. I don't know. I just know that in this physical realm, I'm fucking clueless, right? And we're talking about like, we got genetic DNA memory for fucking thousands of years, but I am clueless, bro, of what the fuck is going on in this world around me, right? We all really are kind of clueless, But it's crazy because this shit that our bodies have been creating for, thousands of years, the DMT has been created in our fucking pineal gland in our brain and in our lungs and gets released, towards like time of death into your bloodstream. And then you start to trip, that's your last couple of things you're seeing. Those are profound things you're seeing at the end. If that DMT trip towards the end is anything similar to the DMT trip I had recently, then I imagine that those very final moments of your life are going to be very profound and you're going to feel a divine spiritual power. And I think, that might go hand in hand with a lot of people's near-death experiences, because when you go through a near-death experience, you obviously don't completely die. You either, completely die and come back, or you almost die or whatever. But people come back talking about how, they've had these crazy, profound experiences. Well, maybe your body was convinced that it was about to pass and to release some DMT into your system so that, it's easier for you to pass. You feel more comfortable. You feel just embraced by, see, that divine power. Like I was saying before, I don't think it was upset with me or mad at me. I just think it was stern and demanded respect. And it was the fucking chieftain, like I was saying. But I still think that like it genuinely gives a shit about me, right? Because when I was crying in that first phase, like it felt like he was crying for me. Like I said, like that first phase wasn't me, man. This thing took over my body, dude. I felt like I was in the back seat watching, like. This thing just took over. I felt the presence in my fucking body. I'm telling you. So, but like I said, like I felt the firmness. I felt like the demand for respect, and I felt like the demand to be taken seriously, and I felt it in my whole body. So it's hard to say it wasn't some kind of divine deity. I don't know, man. It's just divine spirit, dude. That's what it feels like. And now I look at my cat, and I'm like, what if that's another beautiful spirit too? What if that's like, what if my cat is living in a physical realm in its body, right? But when it passes, it transitions, through the spirit realm again into whatever else in the next realm. So who knows if we ever see each other again too? That's another thing that we talked about with the shaman was like, what if this spirit world, maybe what if these spirit realms do exist, right? And like in these physical realms, you make these great, beautiful relationships with your family, your loved ones, your spouses, your children, all these beautiful family relationships you have and people that love you and all these things in this physical realm. But we don't remember anything from the spiritual realm in this physical realm. So who's to say when we go back to the spiritual realm, even if we're transitioning to another physical realm, that you just fucking forget everything. Not to say that it didn't matter and it wasn't extremely important and beautiful and loving that you had these relationships with your family and everything and spouses and families and kids and all this. Not to say that it wasn't beautiful and perfect in the way it was written, in the way it was allowed to happen, the way the creator allowed it to happen, right? It's just when you go into that spiritual realm, into the next physical realm, like that transitional period, like maybe you're supposed to be given a clean slate. Maybe these spirits that are inside of us are fucking thousands of years old, but every time they come back, they clean the slate and start over, and the story just keeps getting written on this planet. Who knows, man? I just know that there's way more fucking options now after that experience than prior to, for anything of spiritual realm or anything. You don't normally catch me talking like this, man. And I used to talk a lot about aliens. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been keeping up, but I've been kind of guided away from these aliens things. It's not because I don't believe in aliens and shit. One, I've been really busy, right? Because you guys have been watching the videos. Yeah, I've been busy. But two, I'm starting to think like that divine, powerful presence, that creator, like it's up to him. If I'm meant to know about these things, these aliens and crafts and shit, he'll let it be known to me. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I can stop digging because it's not my fucking job. And if it is my fucking job, he'll let that be known to me too. So I don't know. I'm not super religious, man. I'm not religious like that, you know? But now, like, I do believe there's something spiritual, something connected to us spiritually. And I do think that that we are side by side, you know, to thousands of other realms that are just outside of what you see here. And it's just like, those with the power, like those with the divine power, those spirits with the divine power. I don't even know if the spirit's the creator. Those creators, if there's more than one, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But they're the only ones with the powers that can manipulate these realms, can come in and out of them, can make them disappear before your eyes, right? And you can only get access to them with this chemical compound. But you and I, like, we can go like, yo, science, you know, it's probably all in your brain because it's a chemical compound. Well, before we fucking discovered science and chemical compounds, this was just shit that our bodies produced, man. Like, just another fucking, not, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, before chemical compounds, this was just spiritual shit. You know what I mean? Like, people are still doing, like I was reading before, like, people are still doing spiritual ceremonies with this and ayahuasca. Ayahuasca and this DMT stuff is very similar, you know? And people still have spiritual, ceremonial things going on all over the world using these chemical compounds, right? So, like, it's not just me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not just me. I'm one of probably freaking millions of people that no longer question that there's a creator, bro. You know what I'm saying? And wants to continue their lives living in a righteous way now, as to not upset that creator, you know, not to make him upset. Because I have a feeling that he has the power to take and give as he pleases, right? And we don't in this physical realm. This physical realm, like I said, man, if everything I think is right about this experience, this realm it's just physical. It just looks physical, man. It's just here. And it can go away just like that. And you wouldn't even remember. You wouldn't even know, dude. That's the thing. That's another thing. Like, when you're on these DMT trips, like during like phase 2 and 3, I didn't fucking know shit. I didn't know if I was a person alive or not. I was still in the back seat. I don't know who the fuck I was. I was still feeling emotion and feeling this power and feeling all these experiences, but I could have been dead for all I cared and still wouldn't have given a fuck. Like, it doesn't, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, you're conscious, but you're not. You're conscious, but you're not. And something else is in charge. And now, like, having that experience, I feel okay about that for the rest of my life, knowing that it's not all about, you know, my decisions or my determinations. No, someone else is running the show, man. And as long as I just keep playing or keep riding or keep driving on the road that he's laying out for me, you know, then I'm staying within my lanes. So you're probably not going to see me hunting for fucking aliens much anymore. The only time I'll fucking discover an alien or find one is when the creator says, hey, man, it's either time for you to do so or this is your job now. Otherwise, I'm just going to, like I say, play the cards I was dealt. And I think that there is a dealer now. I think I felt that divine presence, spiritual presence of a potential card dealer or creator making these paths. So I don't know. If you're going to try it, be responsible. Be safe. Get a shaman. Be babysat. Don't do it alone. Unless you've done it, you know, however, if you've done it, you know, a bunch of, I don't know. If you're an expert on this shit, do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm just saying, it's the first time I did it. From my experience, the first time, do your best. Don't be alone when you do stuff like this. Be babysat, and just listen. And do your best to try to just take any message that's given to you by this divine, powerful, spiritual thing. Just if it gives you a message, you might not get that message that day, that night. It might be a week or two before like shit starts clicking in your head. I told you guys I was driving earlier today, and I'm just looking at the road. And I'm worried I'm going to fucking slip back into it. Like, it's not up to you anymore, man. So I don't know. But if you're going to do it, be safe about it. And be sober when you do it, man. Don't be drinking. Don't be doing other stuff. Let your mind absorb as much of that experience as you possibly can. All right, you guys. I love you. I'm going to cut it now. Please like, follow, subscribe to Treeline Podcast. This was an episode on DMT psychedelics. Based off a profound experience I had recently. If you're not into it, I get it. All right, it's not going to be like every episode we're doing this, but I did have a profound experience, so I want to tell you guys about it. Anyways, like I said, like, follow, subscribe to Tree Line Podcast. I love you guys. YouTube and Spotify, don't forget. I love you guys, and keep it real. See you next week. Later.